This tutorial is for 5th grade, Module 6, Lesson 6. In this lesson, we're going to continue working with parallel and perpendicular lines on the coordinate graph. The directions say to plot the following points and label them on the coordinate plane. So I have 4 points. I've been given the coordinate pair for the points, and I will plot them on the graph. So point A will be found at 3, 1. Which means I'm going to start at the origin, move over 3 and up 1, and I'll label that A. Point B will be found at 3, 7. Start at the origin, move over 3, up 7, and that will be point B. Point C is at 2, 9. So start at the origin, move over 2, up 9, and that will be C. And then point D is found at 4, 9. So start at the origin, move over 4, and up 9, and that is point D. Question B says to use a straight edge to construct line segments AB and CD from the points that we plotted. So I'm going to make a line by connecting points A and B first, and then I'll make another line connecting points C and D. So I've connected A and B, and I've connected C and D. Question C says line segment blank is parallel to the x-axis and perpendicular to the y-axis. Well, if it's parallel to the x-axis, that means it has to be a horizontal line, and that would be CD. CD is horizontal, it's parallel to the x-axis, and it's perpendicular to the y-axis. So we'll say CD. And then question D says line segment blank is parallel to the y-axis and perpendicular to the x-axis. So since it's parallel to the y-axis, it's going to be a vertical line because the y-axis is also vertical. So that would have to be line segment AB because it's the vertical line in the plane. The next directions say to plot a point anywhere on segment AB that is not on the endpoints and name it U. So AB is my vertical line. I can choose any of these intersecting points. So I'm going to choose this one and I'll label it U. Its coordinates would be 3, 5 because I start at the origin, go over 3 and up 5. And now we'll plot a point on CD and we'll name it V. So CD, well, there's only one choice there, because there's one intersection between C and D. Its coordinate points would be 3, 9. I went over 3 and up 9 to get to that point. Now we have a new grid. This one says to construct a horizontal line so that the y coordinate of every point is 3. And we'll name that line F. So it's going to be a horizontal line, and it means that every time I go up from the x-axis, I will land on 3 for my y-coordinate. So that will be a line that runs through the 3 on the y-axis. Here's my line, and I will label it F. Any point along this line would have a y-coordinate of 3. Now let's construct a vertical line so the x-coordinate is 4. So for this line, every time I move over from the origin, I would move over 4 first, and then I would go up. So it's going to be a vertical line that runs through the 4 on the x-axis. And I'll label that line G. Question A says line F is blank units above the x-axis. So I look at line F, it's 3 units above that bottom axis. The next directions say to take a blue pencil and shade the portion of the grid that is 3 units or less above the x-axis. So we're going to start at the x-axis, which is the horizontal line at the bottom, and go up 3 units and shade in everything that's up to that point because it's 3 units or less. So everything in this shaded section would be 3 units or less away from that x-axis. Part C says line G is blank units to the right of the y-axis. So if I look at line G, how far away from the y-axis is line G? It's 4 units away from the y-axis. So it's 4 units to the right of the y-axis. So now we're going to take a red pencil and shade in the portion of the grid that is 4 units or more to the right of the y-axis. So it's going to be 4 units or more away from the y-axis. Once I've shaded in everything that's 4 units or more to the right of the y-axis, we end up with this dark section on the grid. Everything in this section is 3 units or less above the x-axis and 4 units or more to the right of the y-axis. So we can use those statements as a general description of any point that would fall in that dark area.